What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Just like Venom is Spider-Man's #1 hater, I feel like I've become the #1 hater of the 10s. Tons of people are turning their opinions around just a little bit. These aren't so bad. Look, they're actually going to bring the price down of cards. Blue Eyes, Dark Magician Girl, they're rising during pre-sales. I would say hold your expectations for prices on cards during pre-sales, and I will back that with past examples. Some good, some not as clear to the 10s, right? But I do also, like Venom, want to be fair in my critiques with his warped sense of justice. Quality control downhill. Oh, look at these. Name shifts happen with every single set, right? Like, this is usual, although they are shifted even extra versus what I've seen before. This happens. It happened with Rise of the Duelist. It happens pretty much every set, and it's not super common with every set this gets past quality control. I really like the Scapegoat. I personally put in an offer on it. So this, I wouldn't be crying too much about. However, this raises my eyebrow to a little bit of conspiracy level theory, because if it was made for prismatic secret rare foiling, why is the layout perfectly done in the regular secret? It almost feels like Konami meant for this to go through. Like, why does it avoid every single area and foil out perfectly with the regular secret pattern? Maybe it just transfers well from the prismatic secret template, but I feel like I can't buy into that perfectly. Here's Ruxin pulling them as well. Now, people are calling this one super common. My friend who runs Ophidian, sponsor of the channel, opened 5,000 10s and only saw 100 of this misprint. I feel like common-esque misprints, which is still, versus the usual misprint, you're talking about one in every X amount of 10s, those do gain popularity over time, similar to the premium pack secret rares, for example. So I could see these being very collectible in the future to some degree, yet I still raise my eyebrow versus quality control because it fits in perfectly, and that is odd to me. But enough of the niche market. Let's talk about the mass market and get to the prices on the cards. I'm seeing Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, and Dark Magician Alter Art all go up here in TCG presales and actually move. I don't think this is a sign of necessarily the prices for the set early on. However, Blue Eyes does have that structure deck coming out, and this could gain traction, especially if the 10s are not as mass opened as usual and were not ordered as much. A comparison that isn't as great is Maximum Gold, where this was half printed. It caused a stampede for it. They were $30 for a while, and they came all the way down to $15 and have only recently spiked due to interest in, the Blue Eyes deck, and yet they've still come down from sellers that have them here. And, the gold is a bit flaky, the cards aren't noted for the best quality, so I think a better comparison is actually the 10 promos, where, yeah, these are going to be a little easier to pull, but not much easier to pull than these quarter century rares from the new 10s. And only Exodia spiked recently due to having the matching set in the new 10s, and the rest of them all came down over time, because it's not a true collectible to be, that easy to get in the 10s. In fact, I pretty much do equate, to some degree, the quarter century secret rares being promos in here and an excuse to pull super rares out and pay less for foiling by Konami. But that's, neither here nor there. We are where we are. So let's go ahead and actually talk about some case ratios that I have received for the US. Now, this is not as definitive as the EU ones I got. For the EU, I had an example over 500 cases. This is only 100 cases. And by the math, there's not too much odd off here. It doesn't seem like they're short prints to me personally. But when we're talking quarter century secret rares, we're pulling 36 per 10, so out of 100 cases, we're looking at 3,600 pulled, and we're going to divide that by the pool of 50. We should be seeing 72 on average each. So here are the ones that were 65 or less copies, starting with 51 Blackwing Dragon, 55 Wake Up Elemental Hero, 60 Trickstar Lightstage, 61 Dark Magician Girl, 64 Excel Synchron Stardust, and 64 Left Leg of the Forbidden One. Again, that's only a difference of 8. That could be regular variants on the last couple. And then we did see overprints in the EU. So here are the 80 and aboves. 80 opening of the Spirit Gates, 82 first movement solo, 83 number 32 Shark Drake, 85 Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend, 88 left arm of the Forbidden One, which is funny because it's the left leg that was less. Then we see 91 Chaos Ancient Gear Golem and 91 Cosmic Blazar Dragon. Again, I feel like it's not definitive enough. We start at only 8 over the average, and we do get all the way to like 91, but again, variance, clumping, even in 100 cases. This seems within range and doesn't seem like anything too sus to me. We're not at a half print, we're not at anything overly notable besides the Dark Magician Girl, right? Even the Blue Eyes isn't in that list. So we then go to the Prismatic Secret Rares, which is where Konami might want to play around with numbers more, and we should be averaging 36 each by the math, I believe, because we have about 100 of them, so we have 36 per 10 of those as well pulled, times the 100, and I believe we're at 99, so yeah, 36 repeating. So here are the ones that are 30 and below pulled. 22 Ice Jade Ran, 24 Rock of the Vanquisher, 24 Vanquisher Soul Heavy Borger, 25 Grand Ganol, 25 number C62, 27 Sinful Spoil of Subversion, Snake Eye, 28 of the Kaiba Token, 28 Dispater, 28 Dark Corridor, 28 Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws, 28 Kashtira Theosis, 28 Mind Castlin, 28 Revolution Synchron, 29 Ice Jade Jimmer, and then 29 Mekanko Water Arabesque. So again, at 29, that's like just 7 off the pull rate. That doesn't raise flags, but like 22 and 24, you start to get a third under. It still could be variance at this range though, so take it all with a grain of salt. Then the 40 and above. So 40 is not that notable. That's only, 3 and some odd above. We start with Fusion Armament at 40, Heavy Polymerization at 40, Kashtira Riseheart at 40, Nightmare Magician at 40, Trident Dragon at 40, 41 Blessing of Horus, 41 Favorite Contact, 41 Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid Neo Tempest, 41 Heat of the Fire Chandler, 41 Sleipnir, 41 Tearlament's Kashtira, 42 Albion, 42 Fighting Flame Swordsman, 42 Mana DM Riemhart, 42 Snake Eyes Birch, 42 Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoilers, 43 Bonfire, 43 Crimson Dragon, 43 Divine Temple of Snake Eye, 43 Sargos, 43 Original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, 45 Visas Emirata, 46 Big Welcome Labyrinth, 46 Chaos Angels, 46 Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, 47 Gravekeeper Inscription, 47 Harpy Feather Duster, 49 Xeno, and 50 Firewall Dragon Singularity. Again, with clumping, etc., even in 100 cases, all of this is within a range. Nothing seems sus this year for the TCG 10s overall, and a lot of the more pulled cards actually seem to be some of the better ones. So when it comes down to it, I feel like when we're talking averages, Konami just messed with the set list on this, and in the EU, it does seem more like it's probably the printing sheets that caused those 10 overprints for each different section. Price-wise, I'm kind of surprised Trident Dragon's holding pre-sales at 20. I get you need it for a deck, ask a friend the meme, but I feel like this will come down as more of these get open. Transaction rollback is much easier to pull in the EU, it feels like, and then we did talk about Chaos Angel seeming easier, but still up in price, and that could just be, again, clumping and range. But there are ratios from the US supplied, and I hope to get more and more numerous ones in soon here. With the examples, though, like I said, I would tame your expectations versus this pre-sale lock. We'll see it unlocked Friday, and we'll see how things go. However, there have been impacts to prices in the immediate from people buying this and jumping over to other ones, like SP Little Knight actually went back up during this pre-sale range and has now then come back down to some degree, with top-rated sellers going, yeah, I'll go ahead and sell mine now. Triple Tactic Thrust also spiking heavily in price here towards $72 $2, and the OG had a run on it early into pre-sales, as well as people started to piece together the ratios and set list. And then the cards that missed the 10s are continuing to spike. Snake Eyes Diabell Star is a tech. It's like more of a one-of for most people, but here it goes spiking. And the Quarter Century Secret Rare stopping its free fall during banless season and even after, and now starting to come back up. And then Tearlament's Rhino Heart, as most of the rest of the deck is accessible, he's missed his reprint so far and is going up. I want to remind you, Bonanza is around the corner, and besides the huge nostalgia pool, there still is the regular set for Bonanza, although this one does have an ultimate rare, so people are trying to theorize it when it got. How'd that work for Baroness and, things that had collector rares? Ultimate Slayer is getting bought up as a core breaker for the new Xyz deck. The name is slipping my mind. Please put it in the comment section down below from the deck building packs. But you see multiple versions of this are getting traction. The Starlight, the Quarter Century Secret Rare is now down in quantities, spiking up in price pretty fast as well. And then Book of Eclipse is good against that deck. I think it's Rizel, but I don't want to say the name wrong. But Book of Eclipse is also spiked heavily, and this was also good against Kashtira recently, and finds its way back into modern formats a lot, it feels like, as a non-destruction way to take care of boards and then break them. Number 70 is also for that deck, and has been bought out to $5 and has no reprinting. I feel like I shoved this into Master Duel decks once in a while, and is actually only out of Duelist Saga. Then we have the Mulch Army creeping back up. I want to show you this. We have some independent sellers here, newer to the platform, that are willing to offer a deal. And then it quickly goes to 60 here instead of the 55 it's been selling at. And from there on the second page, there's not a playset for any of these orders. And it goes all the way to 78 by the second page. This will be played most likely in tandem with the next Mulch Army, as we've been talking about. And people are playing the current metagame. More events are starting to see more players during this format. I'm hearing a lot of people actually enjoying the diversity of this format and seeing examples like Cardhaven that had their case tournament and it had 7 different duelists like YCS champs, YouTubers, etc. They were in that top cut, and 7 different decks in the top cut of a competitive area where it's not like, oh yeah, I'm not playing this at locals because it's a case tournament. They put on their best game. So the format has interesting things happening, like Buster Blader winning a regional, and I do think people are genuinely enjoying themselves, but they're dooming about the next format already. Retro Pack has become exceedingly more common on shelves with restocks. I'm seeing more and more pictures of Target with a third wave of restocks or stuff they had in the back and being brought on out. So be aware, it's just getting opened more, and there's a lot of prices down if you were waiting to buy. Feels like a pretty good time for some of these cards. People keep snapping up the secret rares, so they're staying at an interesting price, but stuff like the Sangan has finally settled after all those attempted buyouts, if you're looking for that one. And then just for an interesting tech in Edison, Dark Illusion has a lot of attention right now, with only one holographic version out of Destiny Soldiers. It just reads, negate the activation of a spell, trap, card, or monster effect that targets a face-up dark monster, and destroy that card. A little surprise tech to be used by Blackwings, it seems. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. I try to bring a non-biased opinion here. I try to break it down by the math, so it is weird to stand side by side with Reddit where half the time I disagree, half the time I agree, but so much here it feels like Reddit are the #1 math warriors on this. And MBT also, glad to see a realistic reaction to the 10s instead of paid actor like we've been seeing with a ton of them.